Hello and welcome to the video instruction manual for the new 2016 Go Glider. First things first, remove all of the plastic covers that are around your front wheel. Once that has been removed, we can now go ahead with the first step of installation, and that is to install the front handlebar. I am removing the cover over the wedge nut and simply inserting the wedge nut, bolt, and stem into the head tube. Using the Allen key provided, tighten the bolt and wedge nut into the head tube. You'll know you've gotten this perfectly tight whenever the handlebars cannot move independent of the front fork. Next, you want to install the front wheel into the front fork. So with the cap nuts all the way to the end of the axle, simply insert the front fork into the axle, or the axle into the front fork. Using the keyholes provided, insert the hook washers into the hole provided and tighten the cap nuts over that, using either the multi-tool or a faster ratchet wrench. Now that the front wheel is installed, simply raise the seats to the desired height and close the seat clamp. The seat clamp has a nut on one side and a lever on the other side. Hold the nut while simultaneously spinning the lever clockwise, then tighten down the clamp. This will ensure that you have proper tension in the seat clamp. The last step of assembly is to insert the foot peg in the ready to ride position, which is perpendicular to the frame of the bike. Once that has been complete, you are good to go. Here we are going to install the footboard scooter assembly. First things first, you're going to get a blank slate. Go ahead and put the bottom of the footboard in place. And it's hard to see here, but you want the tail end of the footboard assembly piece to be on the tail end of the footboard itself. Once that has been done, you want to tighten the screws provided down into the footboard through the metal tail piece. That tail piece will insert into the seat post later. Once that has been tightened all the way down, the next step will be to install the grip feet that cover these screws. As you can see here, this has already been completed. So I've got my grip feet there and the screws tightened in with the tail ends matching. So you will need to remove the seat post and seat from the glider. Once that has been done, go ahead and remove the foot peg as well. Here we are simply pressing down these two side pins of the seat post insertion and then making sure those pins go into the holes provided. Next step here is to simply reinsert the foot peg underneath the footboard. The last and final step is to tie the footboard into the front foot peg, and you do that by simply looping the straps through the plastic piece and then locking that in by pulling it tight. So here we are going to install the new pedal system into our glider. First, you want to remove all peg assembly pieces, and you can do that by holding the cap nut on one side and spinning the Allen key nut loose. Here I am reinserting the seat post, and this just sets us up for success in the future because we will be flipping the bike around. So what you want is the seat to be somewhat level with the handlebars. This will create a level surface to work on when we flip the bike around. This is the new 2016 pedal assembly, and what I'm doing here is just prepping the pedal assembly for inserting into the frame. You have locking washers and cap nuts and a nut. So what you want to do is install the crank side of the pedal assembly on the non-brake side. So basically it needs to be on the right side of the bike, but since the bike is flipped upside down here, it needs to be on the left. So once you line up the eyelets of the pedal assembly, all you need to do is insert your screws inside the eyelets and tighten them down with the locking washer and cap nut. Paint can tend to be a little bit thick in the peg insertion, so you might need to use a little bit of force getting the pedals down. Tighten down the pedal assembly by holding one end of the cap nut down and spinning the Allen key clockwise to tighten the nut. Now we are going to remove the rear wheel and install your rear sprocket and chain to complete the assembly of the pedal glider. First things first, we're going to need to remove the brake attachment to the frame, and it is held on by a 7mm screw with a Phillips head on one end and a 7mm nut on the other end. Once that has been done, what you want to do next is remove the cap nuts from the rear wheel and remove the kickstand as well. Once the cap nut and kickstand have been removed, you can take the rear wheel off of the frame. Flip it around and you will reveal the threads on the non-brake side. This is for the rear sprocket found here. You can screw this sprocket in clockwise and really only need to tighten it using your hand. Once this has been completed, all you want to do now is reinsert the rear wheel to the frame and repeat the steps you just took to take the wheel off in reverse. So add your washers, cap nuts, kickstand, and frame attachment piece for the rear brake. What we are going to do next is remove the master link from your chain and attach the chain to the rear sprocket and front chain ring. So what you will find first is that your master link is already attached to one end of your chain. Simply remove that link, keep all three pieces because we will be reusing that later. If you need assistance on removing a master link, I encourage you to research this. So what I'm doing here is taking the chain and routing it from the rear sprocket through between the rear wheel and right side of the frame and onto the front chainring. Once this has been completed, you can simply attach your master link and lock it in place using a pair of pliers. The last and final step is to install your pedals. Both right and left pedals are marked with a R and a L respectively. And for the right pedal, you will need to install that on the right crank arm. And you will need to do this spinning the pedal clockwise, which means righty-tighty. Once that has been tightened down with your multi-tool, you can move on to the other side. The left side pedal is marked with a L, and this will need to be tightened in by spinning the pedal counterclockwise. This will ensure that the pedal will not loosen as you pedal forward. Again, I am locking it in with the multi-tool. Once that has been done, the bike is complete and you are ready to roll. Congratulations on your completion of the new 2016 Pedal Go Glider. If you need any further assistance, please comment below or email me at csupport@glidebikes.com.